If you unthinkingly just had swept along Trebinje, rushing away toward the Adriatic coast, or heading for the neighboring cities of Kotor, Herceg-Novi, Dubrovnik or Mostar, a few pictures could have carried you back to Trebinje. I'm turning my mind to Herzegovinian rocky ocean, to the green valley of the Trebišnica river, to Mediterranean mansions in the town center, and curious contact with the Orient. As you can see, all of this likewise in other cities. We are about to show you something that is not to be found at other destinations. What is to my mind the characteristic of Trebinje is an overwhelming and wonderful piece in which this city is holding out for more than a millennium. In Trebinje during the morning when people are on their way to work, the birds are louder than the automobiles. However, whilst Trebinje is on the way of all those holiday makers swarming from Europe toward the Mediterranean, and as well those traveling toward the sacred places in the Near East, the birds are at times muffled by Hondas and Harley Davidsons.
Super, Trebinje je najbolji grad.
Jedino mjesto gdje bi se preselio, to je Trebinje.
Naturally, even the drivers of those powerful motor engines find this stillness of Trebinje agreeable. It often occurs to me that the builders of Trebinje wanted to remove their city from an intense hustle and bustle. One can assume that in such a way, and so say the many, there was designed under the old platans the most luxurious open-air restaurant in the Balkans. In other words, the largest column of the deep, natural, refreshing shade in this part of Europe. Though treated in this manner by numerous travel agencies in Bosnia and Herzegovina and in the Serbian Republic, Trebinje is not a city display, city memorial, city attraction, but an authentic environment with which a guest fits in easily, since, as a rule, Trebinje is rarely constrained or sophisticated. This is exactly what the Trebinjers themselves find wrong with their own city. They would like their city to be the best in every respect. However, I'm fascinated in Trebinje just by the straightforwardness and nonchalance. The Trebinje Center was built in the Renaissance style. Palaces stand in a row downtown, constructed upon the model of the nearby Dubrovnik. In this way, Trebinje has a stradun of its own, but as well, and to go along with it, the architectural lines characteristic of the Central Europe. The city is all in stone, and had man not invented glass and concrete, it would have stayed as such down to the last detail. Trebinje is neat and clean in itself. The Trebinjers will tell you that they don't use up a single can of shoe black in whole year. Mud and smoke from factory chimneys is really what has never been about here in Trebinje. If anything is smoking anywhere, it could only be a barbecue by the river Trebišnica along the surrounding lakes, or somewhere in the countryside, which is here literally virgin. Consequently, Trebinje is not only built in stone, Trebinje is, in the literal sense, engirdled by and simply stamped on the stone. The surrounding craggy ambience makes a harsh impression on many. Nevertheless, the incoming visitors are sometimes apt to notice that the paysage strikes them as mightily alluring, some say also biblically sanctified. Otherwise, the old Trebinjers compared the Pingvid Valley of Trebišnjica to ancient Egypt as a land of plenty, perhaps on account of the original irrigation system as well, that arrived from the east a long time ago. Karst cliffs and rocky summits command this chain of the Dinaric Alps. Underneath the ring of mountains clustering together, Orion, Durmitor, Maglić, Zelengora, Velej, idyllic karst fields alternate slopingly with fertile valleys, a long way down to the sea level. Those who enjoy perambulations in the countryside or those more ambitious who practice bicycling, mountaineering or alpinism on a regular basis are homeward bound with hundreds of newly taken photographs that you can find on numerous websites. The district of Trebinje, you will also hear tell this about, is still a well-preserved, untouched natural pharmacy. Many people about here seldom, if ever, go for a medical check. Neither they cure their ills with ordinary medicaments. Handing down the knowledge from generation to generation, the people confirm to prescriptions that the nature ordered and their forebears committed to memory. Most of these remedies have been scrutinized, attested, and once more recommended by the contemporary medicine. In Trebinje County, which is rising in the natural karst skyscraper about 1,700 meters in height, as a matter of course, there, in so much a pleasurable confluence of the Mediterranean and continental climates, grow almost all kinds of medicinal herbs that could be gathered in this part of the Mediterranean. For that reason, the Herzegovinian bee honey, although there is not yet a great demand for it, has become renowned. People say that in this part of the world, and that not only due to abundance of sage and other medicinal herbs, but also because of the clean ground and the airy skies, the honeybees have made their masterpiece. Lots of visitors come for the sole reason that they might taste that honey on the spot where it is collected. Another boon from the nature is the high-class Trebinje cheese, especially the one called škripavac, krika. Whatever of it is produced is regularly sold out in the Trebinje piazza. Therefore, if you want to take a taste of it, you must come over to Trebinje for at last a whole day. The škripavac of Trebinje has been put already on the lists of traditional slow food products, and it really creaks on eating. Some people have been known to come to Herzegovina just to try the famous Herzegovinian roast lamb. Here the meat is roasted on the spit, and many places where it is being arranged have already become indispensable for tourists. Still, the Herzegovinians say that a roast from under the thatch, see how culinary expertness. Besides a large number of traditional and slightly exotic dishes, besides the multifarious domestic cuisine, besides the masterly cooked freshwater fish and sea fish, besides the cured meat and delicatessen of excellent quality, besides other different types of grills and barbecues, besides a large variety of pies and pastries, the top-quality Trebinje wines are taken here as well, and they are produced in about 10 widely known wine cellars. One of these, the wine of Vukoje wine cellar, is the holder of the prestigious international medals and awards. Trebinje, the southernmost city in Bosnia and Herzegovina, has sprouted up in the middle of an unapproachable karst imbroglio among the globally esteemed and patronized Adriatic jewels as the cities of Dubrovnik, Kotor, Herceg-Novi, and likewise, naturally, the neighboring Mostar. Dubrovnik, until not so remote past a city-state, is now a famous tourist brand. Herceg-Novi at the very straits of Boka Kotorska is an outstanding natural and climatic oasis. Kotor is a city where you can simply sense the bygone centuries. On the other hand, in Mostar, built on the riversides of the clear and torrential Neretva, you can feel intensively either the colors or odors or sounds of the Orient. Numerous guests arrive to Trebinje with a view to stay here overnight on account of a less costly accommodation and to spend their leisure by day somewhere on the coast from Dubrovnik to Herceg-Novi and Kotor. However, it would always turn out that they had been in Trebinje all the time and not until the last day. They took time by the forelock and went to the cities they were bound for. Apart from its citizens, both writers and painters are simply devoted to Trebinje. One of them went so far as to say once, quite resignedly, "This city strikes one as if it was written up or painted and not as built." Many poets wrote about Trebinje, and many others still write. The cities in the neighborhood, as we just mentioned, are patronized by UNESCO, and Trebinje is not by anyone, either particularly or explicitly. The people on the spot don't seek for a special treatment. As a matter of course, we are going to give you a brief account of the Trebinje townspeople, men and women. Those are people with a broad scale in their deportment, the friendly and open-hearted folk. Furthermore, they are reasonable, perhaps a little stubborn, but not pettifogging. Without artifice and a shadow of theatricality, they take others at their word and keep their own. Quite unexpectedly for these times, and somewhat mythical as well, they respect a traveler and guest. Thus, if you take a stroll in the outskirts of this town, you are likely to come upon anything but most unlikely upon a shuttered door. Trebinje is the only city in Bosnia and Herzegovina that was literally built on the water. Reconstruction and fine profiling of this city waterway is just in progress. As you can hear tell of it today, Trebinje is the urban residence of the Serbian Republic, the residence that has been promoted to the city of culture. All these events are quite recent and everything is still in a rather tempestuous beginning. As you have heard already, the town center is a cluster of about 20 finely designed post-Renaissance mansions, which are today neither urban nor museum exhibits, but the comfortable family retreats where people live peacefully and up to distinctive standard. Even the castle of Trebinje, in its characteristic oriental composition, built in the beginning of the 18th century, is today returning to its original forms. Located among the old town walls, there is also the Herzegovina Museum, whose ample collections are in the limelight. On the first day, our visitors are anxious to see whatever is attracting most attention. For that reason, soon after they arrive, they ask for the road to Crkvina. From here, they could be in lyrical reveries beside the crypt of literator Jovan Dučić, located in the church Christian Hercegovačka Gračanica. Dučić was born down below on the right bank of the river almost 150 years ago. Several cultural institutions in Trebinje, but also the two prominent cultural functions rallying the literators and artists, bear the name of Dučić. Jovan Dučić is the ideological father of the project Trebinje, the City of Culture. You will be enlightened on what is being discussed here if I tell you that in this city, especially in the summertime, few days may pass but something is given on the stages of entertainment. Trebinje has struck deep spiritual roots, of which reminders are the 3 cathedral places of worship downtown. All in hard and sound ashlars, the Holy Transfiguration Serbian Orthodox Church is one of the most sightly temples in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The scenery of the city castle is dominated by the Osman Pasha Mosque. The local Catholic cathedral, an inheritance of the Trebinje Merkan bishopric see, is a little less than the city platens. The church of St. Clement, that was built in the Middle Ages on the city periphery in Mostaci, is probably the smallest fresco gallery in the world. The monastery of Tvrdoš is adding up its countless years all by itself. People have lost the count, and science still hasn't come with an answer, so that only the heaven knows when the first prayer to the Lord was dispatched from here. Very likely built in the first centuries of Christianity, pulled down and rebuilt several times, the monastery of Tvrdoš is perceived in Herzegovina as a symbol of permanency, though it was once razed to the ground in the Venetian-Turkish war conflagration. It rose again from the ashes and overreached its greatest tallness heretofore. The monastery of Saints Peter and Paul is towering over the pleasant lowland in the old monastery of Duži, is standing lorn in the shady plateau of Šuma Trebinska, with which are associated the first dawning of popular education in this part of Herzegovina. Heading for the monastery of Ostrogi in Montenegro, our guests unfailingly also visit Mrkonjići, the native village of Saint Vasilije Ostroški, the wonder worker, especially venerated by Herzegovinians and Montenegrins, who shall never utter his name while sitting. All in all, we could tell you even much more about the things in Trebinje. Whatever we have skipped or neglect, someone will, quite undoubtedly, tell you when you come over here. The Trebinjers are not a sort of people to keep municipal secrets. For that reason, drawing this short story to a close, let us say additionally, as yet here nothing has been commercialized. Here you have to be zealous for mere commonplaces, since people don't take you for a foreigner or walking currency. Consequently, if you want something more undisturbed and long-lived, if you want a deep impression, rare exaltation, complete quietness, but also a working vacation, and what seems to be of paramount importance, if you desire an unrepeatable extra for your biography, something that you will, in the fullness of time, retell to your grandchildren as about a wonderful experience or special curiosity, you are heading for the right place. Well, get on the way. Trebinje is awaiting you. The city, though much spoken about, though visited by numerous guests, is a still untold and, fortunately for everybody, still unfinished story.